Hello and welcome to episode 48 of Simply Magic 2. Today we are working on Botania. If we go in here, we look at the challenges menu. Easy, yeah, easy's a little too easy for me. Normal, I guess we could make an automated apothecary filler. Tree farm, we already did that. We're going to mark you as completed. But what we're actually going to look at today is the Rune Crafter challenge here. It says create a system that can craft all runes on demand or keep them stocked. Every part of the system must be automated and self-sustaining, including the item inputs. Okay, that part we're going to probably gloss over because that's just automating like sugarcane, stuff like that. Bonus points if only one Runic Altar block is used. So we're going to do this. We're going to go about this as pure Botania as we can. I'm going to probably make a couple of caveats, namely I'm going to probably use the same item transport system that I've been using, which is blood magic. So let's dig in. So I have this little section here, and what this is, it's a single cell of one item crafter. So what this is I have an open crate on top of a spectranthemum. What that is then, I have a couple hoppers going into it with just some droppers leading into that. So what we can see here is if I press this button, lights up, and then we look over here at our Runic Altar, we will suddenly see something happen. Namely, a bunch of random items falling onto it. We have 5 items floating here. They're pretty much just 5 items I had in my inventory. But the basic premise is this. Spectranthemum will teleport items. If we take our Wand of the Forest and look at this, and hold down Shift, you can see there's a block above there, which is lit up. It's a little hard to see there. Right above there. What that is doing is basically any item that's dropped around here, if we take Alpha Glass, toss a couple of you, what's going to happen is that's going to teleport directly above our Runic Altar, which is kind of cool. What we're going to do then is we're going to have a bunch of these little cells with a spectranthemum underneath it, and they'll just drop it onto their altar. So that's one option. That's just using this option here is probably what I'll be going with because it kind of fits in with this current infrastructure I have. Dropper, I can just put a blood magic item node next to that and just keep it stocked with, say, 5 or whatever of an item. That's one option. Another option, let's go ahead and build that. We're going to start off with open crate, same as before, and also same as before, a bunch of hoppers. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Actual number doesn't really matter, it's going to be whatever's needed for the runes. But what we can do then is a corporea funnel. If we place these on top, what this does is when the corporea funnel gets a signal, it will pull from the corporea network. So basically I'll put a label on the side here with item frames, same as before, hit a button, it will then trigger all of these, which will drop into the hoppers, which will feed to the open crate, which will then go to the spectranthemum. So this would be the pure Botania method, which is pretty easy. In fact, I could just use this, but then I'd have to have, well, honestly, it'll work. Either of these would work. Both of these are going to be pulling from my inventory system. It's just that this one's going to be using a lot more sparks. And it's not so much the cost of the sparks. Sparks are easy. If I hit R, that's just pixie dust, which I have many, many stacks of. Ender air bottles, no real challenge there. And sparks, which I already have automated. That's not really a challenge. It's more of, if we're going to have lots of sparks and everything, it's going to be a lot of sparkly things, which, I mean, in theory, shouldn't hurt your FPS, but I don't have the greatest computer, so we're going to go with this because fewer moving parts. And the next part of the challenge is pretty simple as well. We have Runic Altar with a comparator coming out of it. Now, you could use a red string comparator. Right now, it's just kind of sitting here and not going to do anything. But basically, the premise is when the altar is crafting something, it has a signal of 1. When it is ready, or I think when it's done, or when it's ready, basically when it's pretty much done, it'll flash to the second redstone, so it has a redstone output of 2. In fact, I probably have this all written down in here. If we look at, where am I looking? Probably mystical items. No, we're just gonna do it this way. Index, Runic Altar. So this guy here, if we look through, it should say something about the comparator level. Last but not least, attaching a comparator to it will emit signal strength of 1 if the altar is accepting mana, and signal strength 2 if it's ready to craft the rune. So yeah, basically what that means is when it's doing something, when it is working on something, it's going to have 1 coming out, and when it is ready to actually be created, it'll pulse to 2. Now at 2, I can then trigger a Wand of the Forest words to trigger it, and then it'll be done. That'll then drop this back to 0 because there's nothing's happening, which will then allow the next one to take place. So there's going to be a whole lot of redstone here to get the actual timing correct, but that's the basic premise. When it's at 1, it's not going to let anything else craft. When it's at 2, it will it'll finish its thing, and then when it resets, it'll be ready for the next one. So a couple AND gates, a couple OR gates, yeah, logic. And pretty much the last piece of this puzzle, we have 16 different runes here. The regular elemental ones here, they take 5 items. The various seasons, these take 6 items. And then the 7 deadly sins here, they take 4. So that's going to help us lay out and figure out how much we actually need for space. So this right here is just 5, so some are going to be 6, some are going to be 4. Yeah, that'll work. Well, it has been a couple days since I've been able to record, but I've been able to do some playing and some planning kind of off camera. So, first off, I built a fountain. Yeah. Right now, this thing here, this contraption, is going to be, I think, what we're going to use. So, up here is like I had earlier in that previous clip. We've got our hoppers with our droppers pointing into them. So that is up here. That's just going along there. Now, the actual logic is going to be a little bit more complicated. So let's just turn it on and see what happens. This here, just simple hopper clock words. Just an item's going to rotate around there, and when it hits this guy here, it just blinks. So blinking, that's it. Now what we've got set up here for our logic is when the crystal cube says, hey, I don't have enough, then basically it's not going to let the comparator turn on because as before, this will put out a signal, and if the signal going through here is less than the signal in my bookcase, then it will not turn on. It has to be higher. So basically use an inverter here, just a switch, or just a redstone torch. Right now I'm using a lever to kind of simulate it, whether it's on or off. And here's how it works. Sticky piston is attached to a block. What this block is doing is it's cutting the dust. So what that does is when it goes in here, the block here gets a signal out if I pull it out with a repeater, but you'll notice on the other side here, it's not turning on and continuing through, which is really important because that means only one of these is actually going to be able to activate at one time. And it's going to be whichever one is first. So I have to set up kind of a priority system here. Now, if we look at this guy here, we can see a little bit more of the detail. If I turn this one on, you'll see that the redstone is now no longer going up the block here. Turn that back, then it does go back down. So we can kind of then mess with this, go over here, flip the lever off, and the redstone signal can go through. So it will go through and light up over here because currently nothing's going to be crafted. Turn you on because you're low, now it's going to route the signal this way. So that will then blink all these hoppers. So that is that system. Next up, you'll notice that the moonstone thing is no longer here. I never really liked it, to be honest. One thing that I have done a few months ago, actually, at this point, was I turned off the griefing effect. I don't remember exactly what the config option was called, but basically, now it's not going to be putting holes in my ground. It's just going to be landing here, which is a bit better. It's still annoying. I'm still going to have to set up a thing somewhere, but for now, I'm just going to let them fall because they're not going to be damaging the land anymore. So why do I have a giant diorite fountain? Well, I need a place to actually craft my runes. See in the middle here, we have a Runic Altar. Nothing else. You don't see any more machinery, you don't see anything. It's all going to be underground. And the reason for diorite is because kind of a personal challenge to see whether or not you can make anything with diorite look halfway decent. So that's kind of the plan. We're going to have a diorite fountain. We're going to have a little plaza around it with living rock and cracked living rock. And let me type in AM2 force sync. Just logged on, so it didn't actually update my levels. Yeah, so this is in progress here. I'm going to still be kind of doing some tweaking on this as well as adjusting the plaza around here. And these rocks are just kind of laying out some pathways that I'm planning on putting in. But currently don't have anything done with that yet, just kind of laid it out. So yeah, let's look what's underground here. So the idea is, this is our logic, right? Well, it's not going to be visible. I don't want anything visible here. It's still going to be working. It's still going to be, you know, effective, but it's going to be underground. So if we go down here, we have a giant hole. This right here is actually, this is from our, if I break a hole in here, you can see down there, there's the Thaumcraft area. Let's put that back. So the Thaumcraft area is kind of reaching up here. I'm actually not really sure what I can do about that because I don't know. I'll show you that one out. We have our little luminizers from Botania, But basically, I decided, you know what? I need to dig another giant hole, because why not? I like apparently digging giant holes throughout this entire series. But we have a giant area here, which is, I believe, 7 blocks tall. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I only need 6, so we get to move all of our machinery up there, down here. So that'll be fun. On my other monitor, I have a little Microsoft Paint thing drawn out of a 28 by 28 area. And basically, it's kind of going to be a draft of how I actually want this laid out. So essentially, what's going to happen is there's this little square here. This area here is going to be kind of the middle of the whole area. It's not going to really serve any real purpose besides it's really existing. It's going to be empty, pretty much. And so, I apparently misplaced you. Yeah, this area inside here is going to be empty, and then all the logic is going to be rotating around the outside. Now, to go with this, we're going to have a couple, I think I need 4 of the, where did they go? Yes, 4 of the spectranthemums. I'm going to probably just use dirt for that. It doesn't need to be anything in particular. It just needs to be within range of up there. So that should be good. Now we can start building. We've got open crates. And basically, this is pretty simple. It's just going to be going up. And I think I want it here. No, one more higher. Yeah. That was not what I wanted. Anyway, so open crate goes up there. Let's get some hoppers. Now this down here, I think it doesn't really matter which one I have set up. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. So if it's 4, then it's going to be our 7 deadly sins, which I think is fine. You know, let me check that. Okay, so we're going to actually do 5 here. So 5 goes like that, and right here is going to go the next one. So 1, 2, and open crate. So same over here. 1, 2, and open crate. And 1, 2, and open crate. So here are our 4 elemental. These are going to be just the basic elemental, the earth, wind, fire, whatever. Is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the plan is that this whole area is actually going to be just living rock down here. It's not going to be visible, which is why I didn't bother doing anything with the floor there. It's just as I mined it out. And then this should let me have 1 block of walking space. In fact, you know what? I think I actually need this 1 higher. Yep, whole thing needs to go 1 higher. No big deal. I just need to place everything on top of what's already here and then break it all out. So we'll be back. Easy enough. We have 4 of these laid out. Earth, wind, fire, water. In no particular order. Probably guess water, fire, earth, and air. Whatever. So upstairs, you'll notice I did have them up separated by 2 blocks. Now, I actually did some thinking about this. And the reason I did 2 blocks was I didn't want the spectranthemums to overlap. And then I realized, you know, it doesn't matter because they're all going to be going to the same place, so I might as well share my spectranthemums. So I can actually go only 1 block in between each, and that's only for the droppers here. In fact, I guess if I wanted to do this pure Botania, then I'd be able to do it. I might be able to do it even closer then. I'd have to use the special redstone that won't interact though. But yeah, anyway, this will be fine. So we can go with our droppers here. So let's equip those, and these are going to go. You know, let's do it this way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll have to get those other ones over there later, but for now, we now have our hoppers in place, we have our droppers in place, we now get to do the redstone. Well, since we're going uphill with the redstone, what I can use is kind of a vanilla trick with stone slabs. So since these are a partial block, you can actually loop back and forth, whereas if these were solid blocks, then it would of course cut the dust like we're using for our main process over here anyway. So it goes up, goes up, goes up, and goes across our droppers. So place all these on here, and we should have room underneath here for all of our blood nodes for actually sending the items here. So we've got that there. We need to have a repeater, which is going to pull the signal out of this block. Right there. So let's grab our sticky piston. I'm kind of building this backwards from, I guess, the way that the signal would actually be traveling, but probably fine. So if we stand right here, we should be able to place the top. There we go. So sticky piston, if we power you for a second, let's break you to, there we go. So that will pull it back. So that's in place. Cool. So what we need to do then is we need to have block here with a redstone torch on top, and you will have a comparator going into it. Comparator goes that way with a bookcase. Which can go, do I want you here? So the thing is, I'm going to have, so that's another thing, is that these are going to be sharing signals, but that's honestly fine, because I'm not going to need more than, I'm not going to have like, oh, fire I need to have 2 stacks, and this one I need to have 7 stacks. That's not going to be a thing. I'm going to just probably have like 2 stacks of everything anyway. So I can just have it share the same bookcase and it'll be fine. So let's get our living rock, grab you, and just lay out the rest of this as well. So you go there, you go here, and you go here. And of course, this block actually won't exist. Neither will you, because you are going to be these guys. One thing is I'm going to have the signal originating from over here. It's going to go this direction, which is going to be different than it is upstairs, but that's fine. So let's double check that this is actually working properly. So if I put a torch here, it should send the signal in, and it should not go out to the rest of these, because the first one here is going to block it. Okay, so that works. So if I turn you off, signal is allowed to go through, but not past that. Okay, good. So far so good. Same thing. And that triggered all my droppers. Cool, so it works. And out the back here, the cobblestone is just for, so I have a block to place things against, because that really is the only existence for that. Cobblestone is always going to be temporary in most of my stuff. So going to break that out, and we have, oh, missed one. Okay, that works. So that is all in place now. Let's finish up with the living rock. Might as well, you know, we're going to still go like this. Place you and you, you and you, you and you. So that's all good. Now hopefully I can still get in here to actually place my repeaters in place. No. Let's break out these guys so I can actually get past. So repeater is going to go here to be able to pull the item, or to pull the signal out. Repeater, repeater, and repeater. And then a redstone dot over here. So redstone here, here, and here. Similarly here and here, here, here. And with that, we've got now all of our redstone coming out of that. We just need to fill in our droppers. Well, that's frustrating. I did some counting, and turns out I have this all off by 1 block. I need you here. You need to move here. That's going to be fun. We're in luck. It's not the crystal cubes that go there, it is the open crates. So we are actually still lined up, and the thing is that I need to be 5 across because now I have a bunch that are going to go this direction. So I've got the redstone looped around here, just a repeater to continue the signal, and I'm going to just go ahead and finish the rest of these. Well, we have everything in place here for the redstone at least. I did have to make a couple tweaks. So as I was looking at this, I had my redstone torch on top of here, but I realized that when I put a node here, let's place a couple in place here, right click, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I realized that if I have a redstone torch here, it's actually going to disable this output node, which isn't ideal. So instead, what I've got is I just put it underneath here. So one thing I did also do is I have a nice little full on-off switch here. Basically this will turn it so that all of them turns on, which will pretty much just block any signal from going through. It would, if this was blinking, cause this one to work. Mostly I just wanted to be able to see that they all do in fact turn, that everything's all connected and that redstone works. Next up I've got lever here. This would be the signal that actually causes the crafting to start. Since this goes all the way around, except I had to move it by 1 block, so let me place that and fix that here. Place you there, and redstone goes here. So kind of just put it in place to be able to see that it does in fact go all the way around, which it should now. I think it's just that one. Yeah. So we are all good. It goes all the way around back to here. Awesome. Redstone's in place. Now, well, it's going to be kind of difficult. So we've got the output nodes which are going to go in place here. I need to actually stock all of those, which means I need to set up the auto crafting for most of those items anyway. And I need to figure out the whole timing system. So that's going to be a little bit more complicated. So one of the problems here is up above there is the Runic Altar. Now if we come up here, my plan was originally I was going to have a dispenser directly underneath it, hitting it with a Wand of the Forest. But the problem with that is I was also going to be having down here a red string comparator, which isn't really going to work because that's just going to pick up the dropper or the dispenser that's in the way. So I think what I'm going to have to do is probably figure out if I can put the dispenser to the side and figure out the redstone that I need for that. Because this guy here is going to be outputting a signal, right? And I need it to be a certain strength. Specifically, I want it to be a strength of 2. That's not where you go. If we place you here, so that's aiming in towards this. So what I want is when it hits 2 to trigger both the dispenser here as well as down below. In fact, as I'm thinking about this, I don't actually even need to hook up the dispenser to any sort of timing circuit. I can just stick a hovering hourglass underneath it and set it to like a second or something. So it's going to be visible in this build, which is a little unfortunate. I was hoping to have it be below, but I do need to be able to actually access the Runic Altar with the red string comparator here. So that's going to be one concession I'll have to make on this. Can I fall? I want to fall and land on that. Let's go ahead, grab our hovering hourglass, and place you right here. Pretty simple. We're just going to go like this, take a sand. Ooh. I could do that. I could use a messenger lens, which will then trigger a redstone detector, or a mana detector, to fire him. Let's do that. Let's get our redstone down here set up first, though. So we got our comparator. We're going to just come out of here. So it's either going to be 1 or it's going to be 2. Now, if it's going to be 2, we're going to kind of do something like I'd done before with the wireless redstone trick. So we're going to grab ourselves a dropper. I should have block breaker. I don't have a dropper on me. Okay, dispenser will work. Just a little more of a pain to craft. So there we go, place you. Dispenser goes here, and we're actually just going to go and take a hopper and feed it straight back into it. Actually, that's not where I want it. I want you over 1. So if we go dispenser, you go here, and let's take a hopper. Do I want you going directly back in? I kind of don't. I want to feed it around this way, I think. I want to give it a little bit more time to trigger it because, like before, I think it was only a single tick that it was actually visible for. That's actually in the way. Let me move some stuff around. Okay, so we can just bump it up by a single block, and that should be good. So if we go here, and I actually need another block to be able to stand on for a second here. So you go there. We're actually going to have this guy facing up, which is a little weird, but okay. And on the side is where we're going to feed in our hopper. So you go up there, and you're going to feed down into that one, and you are going to feed into here. So basically, instead of it being along the ground, that's going to fire up into you, over, down, and in. So basically, as it hits here, it's going to pulse this for kind of a longer pulse through the corporeal network. So I think that should be good. Let's take our comparator here, and I'm off by a block, aren't I? Yep, off by a block. So whatever, redstone goes here, like so, and we grab ourselves a red string comparator, and place you right here. So that should still be linked up above. If I take my Wand of the Forest, we can see the little red string line thingy going up. So that's awesome. And I think just need to move this over by 1 block. So it turns out this does actually have to be a dropper. If I use a dispenser, it's just going to fire it into the world, which is kind of annoying. You need to face up. Let's do it this way. There we go. So dropper facing up into a hopper. There we go. So if I go ahead, place a sand in here, disappears, come back. So that's all it really needs to be, but I do need it to be a named item because this is going to be hooked up to the main corporeal network. So it's going to be kind of just wireless redstone throughout the whole thing. Yeah, basically I only need it to go from here to over there. I just need it to pulse. That's it. And I think that is good. We can probably get rid of some of the extra blocks here. I do need these two though. Don't need you. Do need you. Don't need you or you. And I don't need either of these guys here because that was just for testing. So when it hits 1, it's not going to do anything fancy. When it hits 2, it's going to pulse this guy, which is then going to trigger the whole thing to work again. In the meantime, what I can do is when it also hits 2, we're going to take a signal off of that, and that is going to then trigger with a messenger lens to fire that guy. Okay, so then there is 2, then I'll stick a repeater here. That will come down here. There does need to be a space here for my hopper hawk to pick up stuff. Or not hopper hawk, but the spectranthemum. Let's see, I need living rock, I need redstone. So if I go here, this guy here is going to have redstone. And I can probably just go on top of that because it does have a range, so I think that's fine. I could probably just go straight into it this way. I think that's all I need actually. We'll stick our the spreader here. Spreader here. There we go. Spreader is going to just go from a very small, the diluted mana pool. It doesn't need to have a whole lot. I do need to have a lot of mana in here anyway for the actual runic processing, but I think I can just pull off of that. Well, once again, this little hopper dropper setup here needs to be broken out again because I had overlooked one thing, and that is this over here has a delay. Now, I definitely want this thing to happen before it starts triggering the next one because this is what actually finishes the crafting. So I'll have my mana spreader here. In fact, do I have one on me? I don't think I do. Mana spreader needs to fire there, but we're also going to go, if I do something, let's see, where can I pull off a signal? I need to have more than one delay in here for the dropper. So let's take our repeaters, bricks, I keep taking that out of my inventory. If we go like this, if we just stick this here with a repeater, kind of cramped quarters here. If I just stick this here with, say, a delay of 4, I think that should be sufficient. So this guy only has a delay of 1, this guy will have a delay of 4. The messenger lens is a pretty quick lens, or yeah, it's a fairly quick lens to actually get up there. It's not going very far either, so that should be faster than it takes for this guy. What I can also do is I can have it set it to not actually get the corporeal signal from the first hopper, so it'll only be the second and third hoppers. I think that should work, but that's what testing's for. So let's go ahead and rebuild this guy again. You go there, you go into you, and you go into you. So that will then loop around like before. And I think that should be sufficient now. Dirt is going to pick up, there's going to be a hopper hawk on top of you. It could use a floating one, whatever. Then you need a mana detector and you need a spreader. So let's go grab that. So let's see if this works. I've got a messenger lens, got my mana detector, need a diluted mana pool. We're just going to put this, I think, honestly I'm just going to put it, I think I can pull from underneath. You know what, just in case I can't, let's not do that. We'll put it next to it. So living rock, you can go back there, and our messenger goes on the spreader right here. This just aimed straight up, so that's aimed directly at you. Our diluted mana pool can go on the side, and the messenger lens goes on top of that. So I'm kind of curious as to how fast this actually moves. Mana detector, you are going to go right there, and let's actually break you for a second so I can put the wand in here. So regular wand with a mana detector, so in theory, when this gets a redstone signal, it should pulse up there and click. So if I take a button and stick you there, so clicked that one. Let's go ahead and put a bit of mana. I think I just picked up some mana. Go away, Spellbook. Go away. We'll be back. Okay, where were we? Button went there. Let's go ahead and get our mana tablet. In fact, you go away. I want you to come back. So this guy here should then take the mana. There we go. Doesn't take a whole lot to fill up a diluted pool. Now if I pulse you, so it clicked twice. Now the question is, which one did it click first? You know, they're close enough together that I think we're actually probably fine. Because this one, it's not going to be immediate, and I can always put a delay over there as well before it actually takes effect. And I think that should be good. So yeah, that's pretty much done for the actual logic down here. This is going to be through corporeal, so that's fine. Do I have a crystal cube on me? I do not. But that'll be easy enough to set up over there. One thing I'd like to kind of cover a little bit before I start work on the receiver side of this is the wiring that I have underneath here. So right now, it's emitting a redstone signal, which is basically turning off everything. So that's whether or not this guy is on. Actually, it's with this on. So when this is on, it's the same as if this is on. So it's going to be a corporeal crystal cube down here. And this guy, he's actually just going to be holding either stone, cobblestone, something that exists. And the reason for that is I need it to basically, when there's anything in here, then it will allow things to work properly. Otherwise, If there's nothing in here, then I want to disable the whole system. The reason for that is if there's nothing that's reading, it means that my corporeal network hasn't actually loaded yet, in which case I don't want it producing a bunch of like fire runes here when I probably have enough fire runes in here, but it's measuring nothing because everything's turned off. So that is kind of a thing. I think I need a not gate in here actually though. So this will be reading something, if there's anything in there, which should allow stuff to work, which I think that's fine. Yeah, might need a not gate. We'll figure it out. But yeah, that's kind of a system down there that will basically just hold off the whole system from processing anything until I've got Corporea actually networked properly. So yes, the answer is I do want to have a not gate in here because I want it, when there's nothing in here, I want it to be able to turn it on. So where'd my comparator go? There we go. Comparator goes in and crystal cube goes here. So right now it's reading nothing because nothing's connected, and it is disabling the whole system. So even if this were to start emitting a signal, it won't matter because this block is actually already getting a signal, which is turning off the torch, which is then preventing the sticky piston from moving. So if I were to trigger the lever here, it'll just go all the way through and not actually trigger anything. So that is what we want. So turn you off, that's fine. We can just patch up this hole, and I do still need to actually link you to something. So, okay, how are we going to get this thing to work for receive? So let's stick a comparator here. That's going to be reading this crystal cube. So that's going to go to a redstone dot. Lovely. This will let me put a button down next to it. So let's grab one button. Now this may actually be too long of a button. I'm not entirely sure. I may need to put some more delays in here. But if we just stick a repeater like this, let's see if this works. So the idea is this would pulse real quick. Okay, so that locked it on, which is not what I want. If we stick a repeater here, let's stick a bit of delay. No, because that's going to... We want something like this, actually. We want a delay going in. Put a long delay on that. This here we'll replace with a monostable circuit, which is just a piston. Let's grab redstone. We need a sticky piston. That is not where it goes. It actually goes up one. Too much redstone in my inventory. You there. Sticky piston there. And let's stick some marble on top because it's a nice little indicator that there's something there. And from that, if I stick a redstone dot here, that should then work. Maybe. Let me think this. Let me think it through. So let's actually move our piston over by a block to right here instead. Let's get our chiseled stone back out, and we're going to put redstone dot there and a repeater there. So the reason for that is it should work now. The button was actually powering the piston backwards. Okay, so that's still too long. Oh, you don't have any delays, that's why. So let's try that. Maybe. So it sends a single tick pulse through here. And otherwise, it's pretty much just a redstone clock at that point. So that's going to just keep pulsing forever until I lock it or something. But I think that is pretty much what I want. So basically the way that works is if nothing's needing crafted, then it's just going to keep looping around forever. But if, for instance, if we stick a redstone torch somewhere that can turn this on, lever. Can I stick a lever directly on you? No? Stick it there. So basically, if we turn this guy on, that wouldn't work. I want to turn you on. Let's just break this guy. Okay, so that turned this piston on. And I think our loop got broken when I was messing around there with that lever. So we'll do like that. So that will tick that way, which when that's done crafting, it'll then pulse by dropping an item through here. So let's turn you off again. Where is lever? Okay, lever off. So that's now retracted. So you're looping around. It's going to just keep looping. Cool. So if we then take this off, it'll redirect it to clicking up there, which should then, that should then trigger over here. That will make, let's get through here. So that'll trigger this, it'll craft. When it's done crafting, it will pulse again. It'll pulse this thing, which will then trigger that to continue the looping. So I think that should work. Now to actually test this, I need to actually put items in. Alrighty, so I went along and made a chain of droppers with corporeal sparks going all the way back to base. Just made a little tunnel there. Hooked that up to down here. We have apparently 16,000 stone, which is apparently enough to turn it on. So that is working. These guys here now all need sparks as well. And these will all need to be bound to the actual runes themselves. So we're going to just go ahead, loop around here. Now these should all connect quite nicely, and it should go all the way back to base as well. So that works down to you, you go back to there, so that all works. Okay, so let's go get some runes. For our named item, I'm gonna go ahead and take an Ars Magica blank rune, and we're gonna go ahead and name you Runic Altar. Cool. So that's that. I figure having it be Ars Magica is, I don't know, that was kind of funny. So this is gonna go over here, we're gonna link this all up. And I think we should be pretty much operational. Although we don't have any items in here yet, so it's not actually going to craft anything. But let's go down here. This guy will go in there. That's just going to keep looping around, so I don't need to do anything to like set it to go there. You go here, Runic Altar. And if I place this in here, okay, I shouldn't ever need this button. I've got a button over here. So let's get over here. Kind of difficult to get around here. So if we trigger this, it'll trigger this, which should get this to loop. No, it's not going to loop because it's going to get stuck right here. Right. Let's turn the system here on, which I should have left. You're here. This is a comparator. This is a block. This is a torch. This is redstone. Okay. That turns them all... Oh, you still don't have a repeater. Okay, let's grab that redstone. That's what I get for breaking my system halfway through. So you can go right here, facing up. Okay, so that is all disabled, so that's good. So if I pulse this button again, then it should start looping around. If I can get there. Cool. That ticked there. I see redstone there. You should pop up. There we go. That popped. So that should keep looping then. Not very regularly though. Let's see. Is that going to be an issue? Is that going to have more than one pulse going around at once is my question. I think it's just that it's so quick to go all the way around. So I think that's actually fine. So that's operational. These guys here aren't hooked up yet. Let's get our runes set up here. And let's see. First one is water, then fire. Just to do this in order. Because why not? So you get water. We apparently have 5. Water, fire. And let's see. Then earth and air. Earth and air. Okay. So none of these are actually going to be disabling anything, which is fine. Which means that that's going to be active. So yeah, that's pretty much done. Next up, I'm going to go ahead and set up one of these. I'll set up the water, I think. Actually, water's complicated. You need fishing rods. Fire. Fire's something that I have a lot of. So I'll set up this one here, just so we can kind of see the whole thing in action. One last thing that is actually extremely important is I've actually missed an ingredient if you've been looking here. So there's 5 things here, right? Which is nice. If I look at water, 5 items. Except, you need living rock. So I actually lucked out in the design here. Do I have a dropper on me? Should be in the redstone chest. Lots of droppers. Good, good. Easily fixed by just going... nope, facing the wrong direction. Flight, where are you? Okay. Yeah, easily fixed by just putting another dropper here. That's really all it takes. That's just going to go directly into the open crate. So just going to put redstone right there. Again, redstone chest. There you go. We need regular redstone. So yeah, real simple, just like that. This guy's going to have living rock in it. It doesn't really matter when it goes in. I know some people will wait until it actually is ready for the living rock, but if you take living rock, if I recall correctly at least, it won't actually go onto the altar. And we should probably verify that just to be safe. Do I have any on me? No. Is there any living rock here that's... Here. Okay, let me go grab one. Okay, so if we take like our dropper here, if I toss you, it'll get caught on the altar and start rotating around. But if I toss living rock, I can do this all day long, it's not going to do anything. It'll stack up here, I guess, but it won't actually get pulled into the altar. So really, there's no reason to wait until it's ready for it. I'm just going to have it drop immediately. And I also realized I don't have my spectranthemum set up yet. So let's set up I need to set up this guy here. So do I have ingredients on me? I don't. These guys up with a filter. Same with you, up, filter. And one thing is, I do want to make sure that I'm ready before I actually bind any of these, because otherwise, if I don't have a filter, it's going to throw my entire inventory system into a dropper, which is not exactly ideal. And last one, filter. And of course, last but not least, I should probably put the dropper on this one as well. So let's go ahead, you go here, dropper goes in. Okay. Alrighty, so I bound the spectranthemums to up here, to a block that I had placed right here. Let's go ahead and test to see that it actually works. So let's take some redstone, just toss you down, and that should appear right back up here. Maybe. Maybe not. It did have a little arrow as if it was working, but that doesn't seem to have actually done it then. You go. This might actually be too high now that I think about it. Come on, fly. Here we go. Yeah, because if I shift right click, it draws that little arrow, or that line, but it didn't seem to actually do anything. Toss a couple more. It's a slight issue. Huh. Well, it worked, kind of. There's redstone up here now. That's not exactly where I wanted it. So it did kind of work. I'm not sure why it went into that block, because I had bound the rest of them to a block that was right here. So let's try that again. Bind you, break you, and let's try tossing it again. I might have to do this a block lower, actually, just so it's actually in the air, because I think that might pop up into that. So let's try it like this. You and you. Break this one. So before, it would actually appear, I guess, at the top of that, and then it would just float up into the fountain up above there. But if we have it sitting here with that open, then it should go straight down here. So let's go ahead, toss some items down. Let's do some rotten flesh, why not? Just toss a bunch in there, and that should pop back up here. There we go. So that's working perfectly. Let's go ahead and get rid of this stuff. So next up, what I've done is I've went down and I put in all of my runes down here. I don't have, I think this one is supposed to be Lust. Yeah, Rune of Lust, and then I also have the Rune of Wrath over here that I'm missing. So those are the only two I'm missing, and I set all of these bookcases to be set for 1. So basically all of these are on if there's anything hooked up. So that should pull back that from all of these areas, except for this one here, and the one over there for Wrath. Last couple touches before we can actually fill this thing up and start crafting. So right here is my door. We're going to go ahead and place 2 of these routing nodes. One here, one here. Doesn't really matter where they are. This guy is going to be going to the actual things that's going to be filling up my dispensers. So we've got this hooked up, and these guys should have... So these guys have filters. Okay, so we're going to just bind these together. So that is now hooked up to my inventory system, and these should each have their respective items. I think I set it just for 10 of each for now. Okay, so that's all hooked up. If I open you, you have mana powder. Awesome. So that is all well and good. You should have... Okay, living rock. So if I were to pulse this, it should go upstairs. Now, the other thing I need mana. Quite a lot of mana, actually. So we're going to go ahead, take a spark. One spark's going to go here, and that guy is going to get a dominant spark on it. There we go. Next up, we need to have our actual spreaders hooked up to the altar itself. Let's see. Elven mana spreader. So I think what I'm going to do... do I want it right here? So do I want 3 spreaders even with this so you can kind of see down? Like if I place you here, I could do that. Let's see what that looks like if it is angled, because that's going to kind of change where it goes. The other alternative is I could put abstruse platforms here, so it'll just go right through it, and then I can cover it up and make it look nice. But either way, I still have to have this dispenser visible, or at least up against it, so I don't know if it really matters at that point. I think we'll just stick it right here. So, place you... Nope, not where I wanted it. Really? Don't go there. Okay, so let's take you back. Thank you. We're gonna have to go downstairs to places, I think. Because apparently I can't actually angle to get that. No big deal. So let's go fly. Ah, that's why. You. I'm used to the number 4 being my book for flight there, but apparently I'd moved it. So mana pool can go there. Let's stick a spark on you. And we are actually, we're gonna have to do this. Because I need to actually have access to that. If I take a dominant spark here, did that actually go on, or is that rotating? Okay, so that works. Cool. Next up, we need mana itself. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I could probably put this in the floor here. I think will work. Okay. Let's just go with 1, 2, 3 for now. Spark, spark, and spark. That's going to be the mana storage for here. And then for the actual mana sending to this, we're going to put another one here with a spark, and you get a recessive. Cool. Let me go get some mana. So, small issue. Mana pool can't go here. If I have it right here, the comparator is actually going to be picking up that instead of the altar, which is not ideal. Oh, right, and then those get taken. Of course they do. So let's steal those back. Thank you, thank you. Okay. Instead, what we're going to have to do is probably put it, I guess, even with this. Again, I may decide to bump those down one, but from right here it is faster, so we'll see how that goes. We'll try it with just 2 spreaders. Come back, thank you. Spark goes here. Augment goes there. Okay, so that's fine, I guess. Not ideal. I wanted it underneath just so it can get all 3 of them, but that's fine. So you should still be connecting to that. Mana's down there. Oh yeah, I was gonna go get mana. Alrighty, 5 mana tablets down there, filling up these guys, which are then of course filling up that one up there and this one here. So with that, my mana is pretty much sorted out at this point. This guy should be ready for crafting. That guy has his little connector. I think we're ready to give this thing a try. So let's go ahead and, how do I want to actually trigger this? First off, let's get out of here. If I go up top here, I should be able to give this guy a pulse. So let's get ourselves a button. If I give this a pulse, that should start the whole system. It'll probably alternate around until it triggers, or at least it tries to trigger the Rune of Lust. But I think that's fine. It won't be able to loop around until I have everything opened up for it to do that, or for everything to actually have the recipes hooked up. But it should work. So let's go ahead, take a block, just place it right here, place a button, and give it a pulse. So if we go upstairs, let's break through. Everything's falling in place. Starts crafting. There is no living rock. Why is there no living rock? Why is there no living rock? There should be living rock hooked up. You have living rock. Okay, so living rock is sitting there quite nicely. I'm not sure why that didn't actually work. Let's go ahead, toss that. So one thing is I do need a hopper hawk to be able to pick this up. Because I think the way that the timing and stuff on this works is that a hopper hawk will pick it up before the altar does, because it's kind of meant to be a vanilla, well, it's vanilla Botania, I guess. It's meant to be a Botania automation, so it should be pretty possible to pick up the Rune of Fire before it goes back on the altar. But that didn't work. So why did you not work? One thing that I want to do, I should probably do on this, is this guy here. Right now, it triggers the same time this triggers, which is as soon as it is completely filled up with mana. which I don't think is actually what I want, because I think that is going to trigger that to drop too soon. I think instead I need to put maybe a falling edge circuit on this so that it hits 2, and then it's as it falls from 2 that it triggers. I think that'll work. Let me figure out how I can actually do that, though, in this tight space. Just to prove that I'm not going crazy, I'm going to try this again. Trigger you. That should have everything drop up top here. It take a little bit. 2, 3, 4, 5. See, it's taking a while for that living rock to drop, which is a little weird because I would have thought that would be the first thing to fall. Yeah, it clicked. There's still no living rock. There's the living rock. So I'm not sure why that one takes so long, because that needs to be there well before that click happens. So the interesting thing is, it is sitting down here, so for some reason it's just not picking it up. I'm not sure why it wouldn't pick it up though. Yeah, it doesn't pick it up until the very end there. But why? That doesn't really make sense, which is of course after that's already fired. In fact, I want to double check that it does actually fire. That did not fire you. Why did that not? Oh, because you're already on, so it won't fire twice. Okay, so break you. Redstone, thank you. If I place you back, that should then fire, which finishes the crafting. Okay, so that part there works as long as the living rock is there first. Why is it not there, though? I wonder if I need to get the enchanted grass on this. Okay, let's try this. I wonder if it's actually that it's running out of mana. So I've now hooked it up to this mana pool here, which should always be full. I think previously, since the only mana pool that had been placed was this one here, which is empty. Speaking of which, why are you not full? You should be full. What are you? You should be dominant. Why are you not? You're not even gonna mess around with that. You get a regular mana pool. Because I think that might have something to do with it. So let's go ahead, place you back on here, mana pool, with a spark. Shift click, thank you. Spark goes there, and a dominant thing on here. So that should now work. You're now drawing. Okay, good. Yes, so now, even if they were bound to this, it's now working, should be up to there. So let's go ahead and try just hitting this button again. We're getting quite a lot of fire runes. I don't really have a use for this many, actually. So place that. Everything goes down. Let's see everything come on up here. 3, 4, 5. And rock. Please rock. No rock. Also, nothing's happened. Oh, there's a spark on here. Why is there a spark on here? Go away, zombie. No one invited you. Okay. Okay, spark is here because it got picked up when I dropped it. I thought it's odd that I had only that many. So try that again. Spark is the first one, isn't it? Okay, well, we're just going to toss all this back to base. You go there. Thank you. Okay, let's take that as well. And that. So, either way, it didn't actually solve my issue. The rock didn't come down until after that clicked anyway. So, still having that issue. I put this on regular grass, mostly because I tried doing the overgrowth seed and it didn't work. It has to be grass before you can do that. So, let's try that with overgrowth, or what's it called, enchanted soil? Yeah. We'll try that there. Let me just double check. I don't have anything up here. Nothing on you. You're hooked up. Everyone's happy. Okay. Let's try our button again. So, press U. Everything is up here. Come on. And rock. Why is the rock taking so much longer to fall? I mean, that tried to fire, but it still doesn't have a rock yet. And there it is. Why do you take forever? Well, I guess the good news is that it doesn't work with the enchanted soil, because I only really had that one overgrowth seed, and they're not really renewable. That being said, complete waste right here. But at least that means I don't have to try to find 3 additional ones to make the whole thing work. So, why would you not take this? The redstone signal's going that way, so it shouldn't be disabling the spectranthemum. I don't have I don't think that it should be getting any sort of redstone signal here. Shouldn't be. Might be though. That'd be kind of weird. That'd be very... I mean, like, pistons always have weird stuff when there's redstone involved, but I would think that this is fine. But, why are you not working? Well, I can't find any sort of documentation saying why it would do that. So what I've done is I've bound it to a different mana pool. In fact, I'm going to actually watch it. So they're all three of them right now are pulling from this mana pool right here. So I'm not really sure what would be holding it up. It should just take that one as well right now. But for some reason, it doesn't. And that just fired. You can take it? Thank you. Alright, I've got it. Yeah, thing with Open Crate. If the Open Crate receives power when an item goes into it, then that item, it won't get picked up right away. It has like a delay on it. And yeah, I was actually writing a post on Reddit to ask this question, and as I was typing it, I realized that that item, being the first item going in, is also the only item that has a redstone signal applied to the Open Crate as it goes in. So, I need to move this around because I can't have my dropper immediately next to it, because otherwise this piece of redstone is going to power this Open Crate, which is causing that guy to not get taken until about 10 seconds, because that's how long it takes. Okay, redesign. And actually, here's a question. If I break this, so that's no longer there, I think that this dropper may actually still get powered from this guy. Same reason why the Open Crate is getting powered from it. I think this actually should work. So let's go over here, press our button, and see if it drops a living rock. So it should. We've got living rock down there. Everything should be taken. So that, let's see if that actually works. I'm going to stay out of the way. Items, why? Oh, yes, because there's lots of stuff here already. Okay, so we'll take all this out of here. One of the forest and living rock. So let's just kind of stop it already. Okay, so drop you, hit the button. That'll craft the rune. That should get me my items back on here, which I don't want anymore. So let's send those back to base. And don't care, don't care, don't care. Tablets, you can go back as well. Cracked living rock, that's not going to go anywhere. Rune of fire, you can go back as well. And let's take the rest of our items off. So take you, nope. Shift right click with empty hand. Okay. Last items, cool. Okay, everything's taken off. This should work. I think that is really all I need to do is actually just take that one off because no longer is it getting power, so it should work. I can't jump 4 blocks. So let's try this one last time, and it should be working fine. So flight on, hit the button. Let's go up top and watch. Cool, living rock came down, which is good. Everything else is going on it. That should then fill it up real quick. Awesome, it works. Now that the redstone is working, I have the long and tedious process of adding everything to my automation. So for instance, sugar. Sugar goes here. Because I need a lot of this mana powder for pretty much all of these. All of the elemental runes, these all need mana powder. I already have mana steel, and I've got tons of that at this point. But mana powder, that's going to be a thing. So let's, I'm just going to toss that right there. As that goes, I can just fill up the inventory. I've got it set right now for 1 stack, but that's not a whole lot. I think I'm going to bump it to 2. I just added this to my processing down here. So let's, nope, that's the wrong book. You come back. You stay here. Set you to 2. So that should start going. You're processing, and it should kick on fairly quickly here. 5, 26, 27, there we go. Okay, so that's going to lock that. I'll get a couple extra, that's fine. You apparently are not hooked up to power, or you are hooked up to power. Still slow. Anyway, so that's added. I'm gonna hold off on doing like the, what is it, the fishing rods. I don't know if I'm gonna need that many. I just made a whole bunch of them. Got a stack or so of all the ingredients, made a bunch of those. Got some bows in here as well. I don't think I need that for any of the runes, but it helps for crafting stuff. I don't actually have automated yet the sugarcane to sugar processing. Then again, I also don't have sugarcane automated, so there's that. Yeah, so this is going to be a long process of adding everything. I'm probably going to do it over the course of the next couple episodes. Let me add all this in here. Nope, keep one of you, and water needs bone meal. That's not automated either, is it? So let's grab 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's way more than I'll ever need, but we should have quite a lot of bone meal anyway. I guess 6 stacks, not a whole lot, but anyway, yeah, let me add some more things to the system. Okay, so this is going to be, I think, the first real test of the system. Right now, I've got this thing set for half a stack. So for my Rune of Fire here, we've got 33, so it's happy, but this one only has 6. And I have all the things, I should have enough of everything in my main storage system to actually be able to power this. So let's see if this actually works. So as before, it should go in, it should trigger that. Once that's done crafting, it should then trigger it again, and it should just keep looping until we have a whole stack. So, or half stack, I guess. So let's see how that works. So it dropped all the items there, or it is currently dropping us. So that's going to go, take all the items. Okay. So that's crafting. That should then tick over here eventually. Maybe. I feel like that should have worked already. So if I look up here, I don't have anything on my Runic Altar. So I'm guessing what happened was Mr. Hopperhawk here got a little overzealous and took from there. So I know that there's a couple different things I can put on there. I can turn it to like mycelium and then it'll be slower. But I do want to make sure that it's actually able to catch the runes that come off of here before it actually thinks it's going to craft with those again. So let me, I think I have some mycelium inside here. Let me go grab some. And then let's see if that works. Okay, so this says Podzol will add a small delay and mycelium will add a larger delay. So we're going to start with the lower delay because again, I don't want too much on this. So I have some Podzol, I have some mycelium. So let's see if this will work. This should hopefully work. So let's run back over here to our crafting station. And let's see what we got. So if I break you, is that going to be an issue? Probably because my inventory is full. Let's toss everything back. Don't need you, don't need you, don't need you, don't need you. Don't need any more of you. Okay, so that should be good. Let's get rid of some of this stuff and break you. Okay. One thing is I also have that guy bound to this mana pool so that it won't actually use too much. And that's probably the problem actually, is that it drew from this mana pool instead. So it's actually full of mana before I even started, which I think might speed it up, but I'm not entirely sure. Either way, let's break the dirt. That didn't break. There we go. Keep our flight going. Let's try some mycelium. So place you and Hopperhawk on top of that. And just for fun, we're going to bind this again. I don't want the... Okay, you're bound to that? Yes. Another thing is that if I look at this guy, since he is full of mana, it's actually probably... I bet it's the one that's grabbing it, not the spectranthemums. Either way, that should work now. So let's try this. I may need to run it through a few times. That's definitely going to cause an issue. You can go away. And let's see if we can beat that. Didn't matter anyway, because it still didn't actually work. Okay. There needs to be a way to not only switch it from bound to one... We'll switch it from one pool to the other. There needs to be a way to actually drain the flower itself, because I've tossed quite a lot of items down there and it hasn't drained the mana at all. So instead, I took the spark off of here. Let's make sure this is in the right mode. I want the other way around. Okay. So we're just going to toss all these in here, drain that pool, and try again. So we're going to let that go for a little bit, and we'll be back. Alrighty, so drain the mana pool, break you. Let's place our Hopperhawk back. So if I can't pick you up, of course I can't. We don't need our mana tablets at this point. I should have actually tossed out the empty ones, but whatever. Okay, so that is there. If I place you down here, you should now be bound to the empty pool next to you. Let's just double check that. Yes. So you are empty. You hopefully should not be able to reach that far. So now that that is there, we can place this mana pool back, place our spark on it, and our augment, which is here. So let's augment you again. Maybe. There we go. There we go. Okay. So that's going to fill up. we're gonna swap our mana back down to below, and this, we're gonna once again see if this works, hopefully. Yeah. Let's drop down here. So if can I reach you? Ring is off, so that shouldn't be an issue. Okay, here goes again. Drops all the items. It's taking all the items, that's good. That's a good thing to see. Okay. Any luck? Once again, I feel like that should have worked. Okay, so that's still not working. It's still not even getting to the Runic Altar. So we're going to have to go... I think the issue is, again, that it's taking it from down there. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually just move this whole setup upstairs. Don't need you, don't need you. Just break all the stuff. I have it all. Okay, so that should be... You don't go there. Take you. Okay. So this guy's range is going to be an issue. So if we put it up here, we should be able to hide it somewhere in here. Unfortunately, I don't have a whole lot of room up here, so I need to have this space here be empty. But if I place, actually, I might be able to have a dirt block. If I have a chest sitting here, I wonder if that'll work. Although that's still going to be an issue, so that won't work there. Come back. Give me. There we go. Thank you. Let's keep our flight going again. Come on, flight. There we go. So okay, so that can't be a chest there. It could be here. So if I have the chest here, turn this into a floating hopper hawk. I still need to have. I'd have to have my output node here, or input node rather. Is that an issue? So basically, that's going to be. That'll be open here then. So I'll have water on that. But is that an issue? I mean, it won't really be visible unless you're like sitting up here watching it. So I think that might be fine. Let's open that up again. Okay, so yeah, that's probably fine. So I'll get a floating hopper hawk and then build the rest of this tower back. Okay, so minor, it kind of works, I guess. You can't, it's not gonna be too noticeable when you're down below, so I don't really, I'm not really concerned. Go away, zombie. Go away. Okay, so let's see if that works. So it's not bound to anything. It was bound to a pool up top, but I just broke it, so there's nothing there. Kill you as well. Okay, so once again, let's keep trying this. It's going to be very much an episode of trial and error. So if I hit this, that should get picked up and go where I want it. If I check here, everything is floating. Oh. Two things wrong. One, it has an item here, and the other thing is it only has the one item. Alrighty, that didn't work. So if we look in our chest here, we have all of our items that we wanted, which is a little annoying. So let's take a boreal seed, place you on there, which should turn it into a, that's the podzol based one. So that should work now. Let's empty this out and try again. So let's go ahead and press the button. Can I reach you? Nope. Okay. Keep our flight going. Press the button. Let's see if it works. They're still getting picked up. That one almost made it. Okay, so mycelium. And take 8 million. Let's see if this works this time. Come on up. I want to go up. Thank you. Nope. Well, that almost worked. I got 4 of the things. The living rock, of course, is going to immediately jump up here because it's not set to not pick it up. It's annoying. Okay. What can I do differently that'll make this actually work? Okay, I think I'm onto something. So the reason why only 4 items went there was because this dropper wasn't actually being filled with fishing rods. I'm not sure why. This guy here apparently has 2 tags. This guy has 1 tag. So apparently it didn't actually have enough items. I guess there's slight differences between those. But now it is filling this. I just saw it fill those up. So hopefully that should work. So I should actually kept that one. Actually, wait. Let's first grab ourselves a... I wonder if I can get an item frame on here. I don't know if I can. Awesome. So it turns out item frames are actually entities. That means that they don't really care about most things. I can place it between two blocks that are both blocks, which is a little weird, but I guess that works. So how do I actually place you on here though? That's not working. Nope. There we go. Okay, so that should work. Now let's switch this guy from picking up only items in frames to only items not in frames. So that should pick up what I want it to. Okay, so let's empty that. Inventory is still way too full. Get rid of you, get rid of you, get rid of you. That's at least 4 items. Okay, so take you, don't need you, take you, don't need you, take you. I wish I would shift right click into not just my inventory, not into my hotbar, but whatever. Okay, I think we're ready. Please work. Let's jump down here, keep our flight going, press the button, and hope that it works. So it looked like it is taking them, but I think it's still actually dropping them on there. Okay, so far so good. That worked. Now, are you going to pick it up? Yes. Okay. I think that works. So he's going to keep going. That's fine. This guy is not yet bound to the thing, so that's going to keep crafting indefinitely. Let's hook you back up to our main inventory. So it'll actually take those back to base. Because right now this thing is just filling up with water runes, which is kind of cool. You are now bound. You are empty, and I think we've got a working system. Maybe water's not getting clogged up. Awesome, that is working. So those had landed pretty much directly on there and still didn't go into the altar because it takes a little bit for it to actually go. Yes, yes, I think the whole thing works. No, no it doesn't, I spoke too soon. Okay, that's annoying. I think what I might be able to do is actually just use a daffodil. What that does is it pushes items just away. So I think I can just put it on one side and it'll just force it to land on top of like the dropper there, or dispenser. And I think that should work then. So this is all hooked up to the network, yeah. So that I think is going to be the solution to this. I mean it keeps dropping down. It works most of the time. I have that bound actually to the block right above it, but it does appear to be a little bit higher. Hopefully that won't cause it to miss the altar though. So let me grab one of those. Actually, let's see what that actually takes to make. So, and daffodil, what are you? You are air, of course, and flowers. Okay, that's easy enough. Well, I tried a daffodil. It ended up just blowing everything off and it wouldn't even land on the altar to begin with. So that's not going to work. Right now, I don't think I have anything. Come on. Flight, please. There we go. Nothing. It's really just kind of going straight in. It should hopefully work. One thing I did was I did patch up the hole that I had there for getting up and down. Because things like that, I actually had one that landed through the hole and went back down and then immediately went into the spectranthemum and loaded into the altar, which wasn't ideal. Why are you not continuing? It's probably 32, isn't it? 28. No, you should still be going. Why did that not work? Odd. There should be more than one. Yes? Please, work. It's going there. It's happy. It's working. Should start dropping immediately the next one then. There we go. Okay, well, that's working. One thing is I would like to put a little bit of delay here between this pulsing and actually going in. I suppose I could just put a couple repeaters up to that. Maybe put it on this side so it feeds into that. But yeah, at this point it's kind of like small tweaks to make it work a little bit better than it has been. I do want to figure out a better system up here so like the water runes that are stuck in there right now don't get jammed. but I think the basic idea I've got working here, I believe it's sound. I mean, that's just using Botania to automate itself. That should be pretty possible. So I'm going to mess around with that probably off camera between episodes. But anyway, I'm going to call this for now. System kind of works. Still need to tweak it a little bit. But you can call this for an episode. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.